Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Build with Sophia, the podcast where we explore the journey, strategies, and mindset behind building successful businesses, meaningful careers, and purposeful life. Today's guest is Stephen, executive coach, entrepreneur, author, and creator of the Game of Time, a powerful awareness based coaching framework designed to help leaders eliminate fear, self doubt, guilt, and shame so they can perform at their highest level. Stevie brings over 47 years of real world business experience. He helped grow his family business from $200 to more than $2 million in annual revenue before dedicating his career to helping entrepreneurs and executive leads with greater clarity, confidence, and purpose. He has presented his coaching framework to the Harvard Business School case study team and continue to work with high-performing leaders around the world. Stephen, welcome to Build with Sophia.
Well, thank you, Sophia, for the kind introduction. And I really appreciate being on your podcast and look forward to sharing some wisdom, hopefully, to you and your audience. And I'm sure I'll learn something as well. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Stephen, you have spent decades building businesses before becoming an executive coach. Can you tell us your journey and what inspired you to create the Game of Time?
Well, it probably take longer than a half hour to tell my journey, but I started in the flower business for 30 years. I retired when I was 52, got my financial advisor's licenses, and did that for a year. But my passion's really the coaching. And in 2015, I wanted to figure out a process that was so simple that it was a game. And the game of tens is a game of life. And how to make sense out of the game of 10, which is perfection in flow, going with the flow of life, versus the game often played 1 through 9. And the game of 10 is built on compassion, love, gratitude, grace, and all the good stuff, and that we all have and we're appointed. And through life's journey, we all get disappointed, and we go into the game often played 1 through 9. And the lower down the scale, the more disappointment we've had, the trauma, the abuse, the neglect of, and really the abandonment of who we are, and that is compassionate love. And well, that's who we are. And when we understand that, then it all connects. Whether it's business, whether it's a relationship, friendships, anything, it's really a relationship with ourselves. And the more we give our power away to a disappointment or a person, place, or situation, the lower the awareness that we come from and that we attract.
Wow, that must be an incredible journey there. Many people believe financial success automatically lead to happiness. You discovered something different. What changed your perspective?
Well, when I was 36 years old, I'll be 70 in 2 months. And when I was 36 years old, I was running the flower business. I was 13 years into it. And I went to a therapist, and he said to me, "Why are you here?" And I said, "I have everything in the world that I want, and I'm not happy." And I said, "That is messed up." And I used another word, a more powerful word. And he laughed, and I said, "What can I expect? And how long is it going to take?" And he said, "Usually I say 3 months, but you're messed up, so you're halfway there." And he was right. A month and a half, I had such an awakening that I don't know if he's ever seen anything like it, but I was done in 3 sessions. And he asked me if I had some good teachers around me. And then sure enough, when the student's ready, the teachers appear. So, and the other thing he said to me was, "You'll have mental health." And that meant nothing to me at that time. I didn't know what mental health was. Now I coach mental health. And it's really about being your authentic self, which sounds like a canned phrase, but being the divine being that we are and aligning our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our mind, our body, and our identity with that divine self. Special, not special.
Okay. You often say awareness is the key to high performance. What exactly do you mean by awareness?
Well, awareness, believe it or not, is the absence of thought. It's the pure screen of consciousness that we can connect to when we don't have a lot of messy thoughts going through our head. The Cleveland Clinic did a study on thoughts. The average person has about 60,000 thoughts a day. 80% of them are from the past, 20% are from the same day, 80% are negative, 20% are positive. So with those odds and that filling up, it'd be like looking at a fish tank of 60,000 fish and trying to see the light behind the aquarium. So it's really the thoughts that we hold on to from the past blur our vision in the present moment.
Okay, can you explain the difference between the game often played and the game of the 10?
Well, the difference is we operate in the game of 10 from a clear sense, of consciousness, the clarity of consciousness, that we are that light, that we are that connection to source energy. We are it, but oftentimes we have our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our mind, our body, the thoughts about them all clouding our awareness. And when we let our thoughts, feelings, and emotions take over, then we're playing the game often played, 1 through 9.
Why do so many successful entrepreneurs and executives continue battling with fear and self-doubt even after reaching major milestone?
Well, you can get to 9 by positive thinking, but you can't get to 10 by thinking at all. So you've heard of the Peter principle. We all rise to the level of of basically our own incompetency. And that's what happens. So if somebody has disappointments and it gets them down to 5, they'll get to a 5, but it's really difficult for them to get to 6, 7, 8, 9, and then totally let go at 10. So because we attract at the level of where we are. So if someone says, I'm a 5 on a scale of how happy are you, how healthy are you, uh, wealthy, healed, and whole are you, if they're a 5, they're going to attract that. They won't go to 4, 3, 2, or 1, but it's very difficult to go above that because you have to make space for it. You have to let go of those disappointing thoughts, feelings, and emotions to create space for you to go up to 6, 7, 8, 9, and then totally letting go of thought at 10. It doesn't mean thoughts are bad. It means you're going to use them as a tool. Thoughts are tools. Feelings are tools. Emotions are tools. Our body's a tool. Our mind is a tool. And our identity is a tool to use. But so often in the game often played, those tools are used for who we truly are. It replaces our authentic self with an artificial self, our ego. And we're will it works on fear, it works on self-doubt, it works on guilt, and it works on shame. And guilt is I did something bad, you did something bad. Shame is I am bad, you are bad. So you're going to have to look through that lens of perception to see the world around you. And we attract that. We attract who we are. And so that will validate our experience. So the key is to realize the experience that is not 10 is not real. And we have to let go of those disappointments. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. So there's horrific things that have happened to people, but you let go of those emotional attachments to it, the thoughts about them. It just happened. I'm over it, pretty much. And I think that's the best way to do it. You have to let go or forgive the person, place, or situation that happened. And as I said, it doesn't mean you have to have lunch with anybody who harmed you or be around them. But a good teacher of mine said once, you have to love everybody. You don't have to have lunch with them. Okay.
How can someone recognize fear, not fact, is influencing an important business decision?
Well, if it's fear, you you got to recognize what are you afraid of. You have to do a self-analysis because we are designed to just love everything, but oftentimes if we go into a situation of growth, it can be frightening or it can be exciting. Which one is it? Sometimes it's reframing. Am I excited? Why am I afraid of this situation? Because fear will hold you back. You'll say, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take that risk. Is it done through intuition or is it done from fear of failure? So ask yourself these questions and really have to do that self analysis of what, really go deep. What am I afraid of? What does this remind me of? Am I going to learn from, you're either going to learn from a mistake or you're going to repeat it. And you got to ask yourself, is this another repetition mistake that I keep, a pattern, or is it a growth opportunity? But we do have to let go of all those fears, self doubts, guilt, and shames from the past, or we're going to repeat them. That's just energetic truth of how the game often played works.
You believe institution is a competitive advantage. How can leaders develop institution while still making logical business decisions?
All right, good question. Intuition comes when we have that clear no thought. Okay, if you sometimes people can get to no thought through meditation. I created 6 phrases that quiet the mind. When you quiet your mind with all the chatter of thoughts, voices in your head, and all that, then you download the intuition. And then when you download the intuition, it's an idea and the idea goes, that's from the right brain and goes into the left brain with the logical, how do I implement this into physical form? Like your business, like a building, you're going to be building something. So you use your intuition first, and that's generally, I'd say, 100% right. And then you build from that using thoughts. And hopefully that any emotion you put it will be love. I love what I'm doing. This is great. And you stay in flow. That's what flow is downloading an idea from the source energy and then turning it into an idea and maintaining the passion around it. And you can't fail from there. That's why intuition is so important.
So let me continue.
All right.
You talk about operating from the belief that I am enough. Why is the mindset so powerful for leaders?
Well, enough is the phrase. Let me go over the the phrases of the game of 10 first. They're declarations. They quiet the mind. That puts you into awareness. We always have awareness waiting for us to reconnect, so it never goes away. It's just that we have free will to start blocking it up with thoughts from the past, thoughts of the future, and so when you declare yourself 10, you're saying that I am awareness. So the phrases, do you want to do these phrases together with me, Sophia?
Yes, of course.
All right, let's do it. Play the game of 10. Repeat after me. I am 10.
I am 10.
Yes, you are. I'm doing the best that I can with the awareness that I have.
I'm doing the best that I can with the awareness that I have.
I'm always right with the awareness that I have.
I'm always right with the awareness that I have.
I am enough.
I am enough. I do enough. I am 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 enough.
I do enough.
I have enough. I have enough.
How'd that feel?
Refreshing.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It, I did a podcast a couple yesterday, and what it does is it quiets your mind so you can't think. The guy, he couldn't think of anything to talk about, and I said it worked. So I said I got to remind people that it worked. He couldn't think he couldn't think, so he was like stunned, and I go, it works. So what it does, it resets your mind. So I tell my clients I do it about 5 times a day just to reset my mind. So I'm not thinking about stuff that I got to do or think about something I didn't do and all that. I just want to be clear and just let my intuition come through. Say I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Let my true self, my authentic self, guide me. And our authentic self is our divine self. Always has been, always will be. But we have free will to override it. It never goes away, but our mind can override it. And 10 just says, "Okay, I'll be here when you want to come back." So the first phrase is a declaration of who we are, our divine selves, everyone is. The next two phrases declare our divine innocence. Everyone's doing the best they can with the awareness that they have, including ourselves. Everyone is always right with the awareness they have. They might be working from lack of awareness, but it opens up communication. Why? Tell me more about what is your perspective on this, rather than saying you're wrong. Okay, which ends the conversation and really hurts relationships. And so those two phrases declare a divine innocence. The next three phrases, I am enough, I do enough, and I have enough, it puts us in the be, do, have of the present moment. And in this be, do, have of every present moment of every day, the now, we are always having one thing and doing one thing and being one thing. And that is the universal space, the universal quantity, the universal portion, which is enough. It's infinite. Now is the infinite present moment, and the infinite space, so time space, is enough.
Okay, thank you. Looking back over 47 years journey, what's one lesson you wish every entrepreneur could learn much earlier?
Everything works out for you if you get out of the way and allow it to. Set your intentions, use your intuition, and get out of the way. Because the ego has been called the saboteur. You will sabotage yourself. It's like you try to make perfection better, or you think it's worse, and you just mess it up. That's my
Oh,
advice. Get out of the way. Set your intentions. Be true to yourself. Be honest. Be loving. Be kind. Have an abundant mindset. Know that this is your enough right now, and it might look horrible, but it's not your enough tomorrow. And it's not what you're intending your life to be. So we are intentional, intuitive, energetic, or spiritual beings having a physical experience. We have to keep in that alignment with it and know that the universe works for us when we allow it to. Yet we have free will and an ego, or a mind-made self, or identity, to think we can do a better job. And 10 just says, okay, if you can do it better, good luck. Okay.
so, Stephen, where can our listeners learn more about your work, connect with you, and discover the game of 10? Stephen, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Where can our listeners learn more about your work, connect with you, and discover the game of 10?
Well, they can learn about the game of 10. You can download my free book at my website, www.stevebartoncoaching, STEVEBARTON, coaching.com, and scroll to the bottom of the website, put in your name, and email address, and you will download the book, The Father, the Son, and the Aha Moment. It's a tool for helping your child develop a path to happiness. So it's a parenting book, but it's actually a book to heal your inner child, as well as when you heal your inner child, then you can't help but being a great parent to yourself, which we parent our inner child. We're always healing that, and we stop generational traumas from there. We have to let go of what happened in the past and stop worrying about the future and be living in the present moment, which is a pretty cool place to be. So, and you can find me on LinkedIn under Steve Barton. It says High Performance Coaching.
Stephen, thank you very much for joining me today. I'm really honored. I really appreciate your insights. One of the biggest takeaway for me is the lasting success isn't just about working hard. It is about becoming more aware of the thoughts, emotions, and belief that shapes every decision we make. Today, everyone listening, I hope today's conversation inspires you to build not only a better business or career, but also a better version of yourself. If you enjoyed this episode today, don't forget to subscribe to Build with Sophia on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Please leave. Thank you very much and have a lovely day.